This is the brand new 2019 Hyundai Kona, and it is one of my all-time favorite cars. It's small, it's zippy, it's fun to drive, it's loaded with space, and it is incredible value. Now, last time we took this car up Goldmine Hill. Today we're doing an all-wheel drive slip test. That's right, we're getting this car stuck on purpose for your entertainment. If you remember last time, the Kona's all-wheel drive system up Goldmine Hill worked well, but the transmission did not. So the one issue that this car has off-road is it has a dual clutch transmission, which means I can't load up on that torque converter as I could in a traditional automatic. So far, handling stage one with ease. Yeah, it requires a lot of throttle to get up here with that dual clutch. That dual clutch works really well on the road, but when you're trying to modulate slowly off-road, it is not your friend. Come on. Now the single traction issue though, that's really awesome. All-wheel drive system working well. So we stop here at the beginning of stage two, lose all momentum. Okay guys, so one of two things is gonna happen right here at the start of stage two. It's very articulated. So what that means is we're probably gonna have the left front wheel off the ground and the right rear. Because we do not have locking differentials, those are the wheels that are gonna spin up and lose traction. Now, in a perfect world, what will happen is the traction control will break those spinning wheels, forcing torque to the wheels with traction. And that should happen instantaneously, but a lot of the times, these crossovers really struggle with that transition of torque. It takes a while. Those wheels really have to rotate before the brake traction control system kicks in. Hopefully, we won't have an issue here. What I need here is a constant and steady application of power. So that's what I'm gonna do. Ooh, dual clutch working hard. Feel that turbo kicking in though. Floored, nothing spinning. Yeah, let me turn traction control off. Traction control disabled. Yeah, it's cutting power. Can feel the spinning, but nothing's going on. Transmission temp is high. Look at that. Transmission temp is high, stops safely. So we may be done out here. Oh, that's no good. So essentially, because we don't have torque converters, it's just roasting those clutch packs, which means we're not getting up this hill. I'll give it one more try after it cools down. I hate using momentum off-road, because that is inevitably when you start to break things. Ready? Come on, traction control. Nope. Come on, work it. Ooh, we're gonna do it. Oh. Transmission temp is high again, so that's it, we're done. We're not even going to try stage 3. Now, we did have some minor setbacks up on that test, but if you'll notice, the all-wheel drive system itself seems to be very competent. So we're going to see just how competent it is by getting certain wheels stuck in a length of assembly line roller and then seeing if the car can figure it out and get us unstuck. This Kona uses a largely front-wheel drive based all-wheel drive system, which means it's primarily a front-wheel drive vehicle until there's a lot of slippage, and then it'll send power to the back. So to see how quickly it does that, we're going to get the front wheel stuck first by backing on to these rollers. Now we have got them nice and oiled up, so we shouldn't have much friction, and we'll see how long it takes for those rear wheels to get in action and get us unstuck. Okay, so here is our procedure. We're going to back the Kona up onto our rollers. Now it's a little bit tricky because this Kona has a dual clutch automatic. So what that means is it's a little bit harder to modulate at super slow speeds, but I'm in neutral, let the car settle, into drive, and traction control on, just accelerate. Well, that was really easy. Let's give it another shot here. Okay, into neutral, let it settle, into drive, just a little bit of acceleration. Wow, good results. So that tells me that right off the bat, the all-wheel drive system is active. The rear wheels are engaged, so we really have proper front and rear wheel drive, getting us off the rollers. I'm gonna try one thing. Let me turn traction control off. And into drive, accelerate. Yeah, that is a really good score. So, what I was hoping to do is show a lot of slippage off the bat, and then I'd have to engage my center diff lock and essentially lock the front and rear wheels in place, but because it did so well, I didn't even need the center diff lock. Okay, so we had no issues whatsoever with the front wheel slip test. Now we're gonna step it up a notch with the diagonal slip test. So we're gonna get the front left and the rear right wheels stuck, or stuck in the rollers at least. And in a vehicle with open diffs, it's pretty much as an end game, you're done solution, because what ends up happening is all the power goes to the wheel with no traction, and then you just get really stuck. So it's gonna have to rely on traction control in this case to get us unstuck and throw power to the wheel with traction. But to show how much the wheel's spinning, I'm actually gonna put a little strip of blue tape on the edge of the tire on the sidewall. This is something a lot of you guys have been asking for a while now. So you can kind of track and see how many rotations it takes before the traction control kicks in and gets us unstuck. Okay, so diagonal slip test. I have everything turned on in a normal mode. Just gonna back her up. Center diff lock, of course, is off, or the all-wheel drive lock, as they call it, is off. Okay, now into neutral. Nice and settled, and then into drive, and let's see what happens. Okay, so just a little bit of slip, but actually, I gotta tell you, a really positive result for the first try. Give it another shot here into drive. Oh yes, just a little tiny flash of the traction control light. Now I'm going to try it once more, but this time with the center diff lock on. So all-wheel drive lock on, accelerate, and about the same. So good result all around. Okay, now it's time for our hardest of the slip tests, the three-wheel slip test. Both front wheels are stuck in the rollers, as is the left rear. Only the rear right has traction to get us off. So we're going to try it first in our normal mode. So all-wheel drive lock off, traction control on, just like you would if you got in the car, and into drive. Okay, we're settled. Just a little bit of acceleration. Oh, it's revving high. Okay, we're stuck. Now let me go ahead. Smells a little bit like clutch too. Traction control light is freaking out. Let me go ahead and turn my all-wheel drive lock on. So my all-wheel drive lock is on, which means essentially I have a 50-50 torque split. Let's see what happens now. Oh, wow, so it does make a difference. Look at that. Okay, so we made it off with our center diff lock engaged, but let's try the most aggressive mode. So traction control off this time, center diff lock on. Let's see if this works. And I'm calling it a center diff lock because that's essentially how it works, even if it doesn't have a center transfer case differential, because it doesn't have a transfer case per se. Okay, traction control disabled. Center diff lock on, three-wheeled slip test. We're settled. Oh, took a lot of work, but once again, made it off.
So I think at this point we've pretty much done everything we can with the rugged off-road ability with this Kona. We've taken it off-road, we've seen how the all-wheel drive system works, and yes, it is an incredibly adaptive all-wheel drive system. The center diff lock works great, the traction control is awesome. It's just that 7-speed dual clutch that lets it down a little bit off-road. But other than that, that 1.6 liter turbo makes great power, good torque, and it's still one of my favorite cars as long as you're not going into the Australian outback. As always, I'm Tommy with the Fastlane Car. Go back to tflcar.com for more news, views, and real-world Kona reviews.